What if the small silver-colored 10-pence coin you've walked past 1,000 times is secretly one of the most overlooked treasures in modern British change? What if a simple date from 1979 or 1980 could turn a pocket coin into a collector's prize worth far more than 10 pence? Today, we're diving into two early issues of Britain's decimal coinage that continue to spark curiosity, debate, and serious collector interest. These are the stories, the history, the minting details, the rare errors, and the real market values behind two of the most talked about early decimal coins of Queen Elizabeth II. The 1979 Elizabeth II new 10-pence coin. The 1979 Elizabeth II new 10-pence coin sits at a fascinating crossroads in British numismatic history. To understand its importance, we have to step back to decimal day in 1971, when the United Kingdom officially moved from the centuries-old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a decimalized currency. The 10 new pence coin was introduced in 1968 ahead of decimalization, designed to match the size and value equivalents of the old 2-shilling florin, easing public transition into the new system. By 1979, decimal coinage was no longer new, but it was still in its formative era. The coins of the late 1970s carried a sense of modern British identity, and the 1979 10-pence is part of that foundational period. On the obverse of the 1979 10-pence coin appears the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by Arnold Machin. This portrait, known simply as the Machin portrait, is one of the most iconic effigies in British coinage history. The Queen is depicted facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The design is elegant, minimalist, and powerful in its simplicity. Surrounding the portrait is the inscription Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, abbreviated Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse, designed by Christopher Ironside, features the crowned lion passant guardant standing atop the royal crown. This lion, taken from the royal arms of England, symbolizes strength, sovereignty, and continuity. The denomination new pence appears above, while the date 1979 is placed below. The word new remained on the coin until 1981, when it was replaced simply with pence, marking the full cultural acceptance of decimal currency. The 1979 10-pence coin was struck in cupronickel, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 11.31 grams and measures 28.5 millimeters in diameter. At the time, it was identical in size and weight to the old florin, which allowed pre-decimal coins to circulate alongside decimal issues for years. Now, when we talk about rarity, the first instinct is to look at mintage figures. The Royal Mint produced approximately 78 million 1979 10-pence coins for circulation. On paper, that number suggests the coin is common, and in circulated condition, that's true. Most examples found in change are worth face value. But condition changes everything. High-grade, uncirculated examples of the 1979 10-pence are significantly scarcer than many realize. During the late 1970s, coins were struck for heavy circulation. Many were released in bulk and handled extensively. As a result, finding a truly pristine example with sharp strike, full mint luster, and minimal contact marks is far more challenging than the mintage suggests. In brilliant, uncirculated condition, a 1979 10-pence coin can sell for £3 to £8, depending on eye appeal. In certified mint state grades equivalent to MS65 or higher, values can rise to £15 to £40. Exceptionally preserved examples with strong luster and no visible abrasions have achieved even higher prices at specialist auctions. Collector interest also centers around error varieties. One of the most talked about possibilities with late 1970s decimal coins involves off-metal strikes. While extremely rare, there have been instances across denominations of coins struck on incorrect planchets. A 1979 10-pence struck on a smaller denomination blank, or even on a foreign planchet, would command significant attention and potentially reach into the hundreds of pounds, depending on authentication and condition. More commonly encountered are striking errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. An off-center 1979 10-pence retaining a full visible date can fetch 40 to 120 pounds, depending on how dramatic the error is. Clipped planchet examples typically sell between 30 and 80 pounds. Die cracks, especially those that create bold raised lines across the lion or the queen's portrait, are collected by variety specialists and can add modest premiums. Another area of interest lies in die deterioration and strike quality. Some 1979 coins exhibit slightly weaker detail in the lion's mane or crown jewels due to heavy die usage. Collectors seeking the sharpest strikes often pay premiums for coins with crisp definition in the crown's arches and clear facial detail in the Mackin portrait. The historical context adds another layer of appeal. The year 1979 was significant in British history. It marked the beginning of Margaret Thatcher's premiership and a period of economic and political transformation. Coins from this year reflect a Britain on the cusp of change, making them attractive to collectors who appreciate historical connections alongside numismatic value. Although the 1979 Elizabeth II new 10-pence coin is not rare in circulated grades, its scarcity in top condition, combined with the possibility of mint errors and its role in early decimal currency history, ensures steady demand. For collectors building date runs of early decimal coinage, it remains an essential piece. The 1980 Elizabeth II new 10-pence coin. The 1980 Elizabeth II new 10-pence coin continues the story of Britain's early decimal currency, but introduces subtle differences in availability, preservation, and collector demand. By 1980, decimal coinage had been in circulation for nearly a decade. Public familiarity with the system was fully established, yet the coin still carried the new pence inscription, a reminder of the relatively recent transition. Like its 1979 predecessor, the 1980 issue features the Arnold Mackin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and Christopher Ironside's crowned lion design on the reverse. Visually, the coin appears identical in design to the 1979 issue, aside from the date. However, small production nuances and market factors make the 1980 coin an intriguing study in collector value. The Royal Mint struck approximately 65 million 1980 10-pence coins for circulation. This slightly lower mintage compared to 1979 suggests a marginally reduced availability. However, mintage alone does not determine value. What makes the 1980 10-pence coin particularly interesting is the quality of surviving examples. Like many coins of the era, the majority entered heavy circulation. Contact marks, surface scratches, and dulled luster are common. As a result, truly high-grade specimens are scarcer than expected. In circulated condition, the 1980 10-pence remains worth face value. But in brilliant uncirculated condition, values typically range from £4 to £10. Certified high-grade examples equivalent to MS66 or above can command £20 to £60. Coins with exceptional eye appeal, blazing original luster, and flawless surfaces may reach even higher levels in competitive auctions. Error collectors also pursue the 1980 issue enthusiastically. Off-center strikes are among the most visually dramatic errors. A 1980 10-pence struck 10 to 20% off-center, with the date fully visible, can sell between £50 and £150 depending on condition. More extreme off-center examples may command higher premiums. Clipped planchet errors are also known. Because of the coin's larger diameter, clipped examples are highly noticeable and collectible. These typically trade in the £40 to £100 range. Die clashes and die cracks are another area of interest. Some 1980 coins show clash marks where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint mirrored impressions. Collectors specializing in minting anomalies actively seek these pieces. There is also niche interest in transitional and die pairing varieties. Although no major recognized variety has dramatically shifted market values, subtle differences in lettering sharpness and rim formation have drawn attention among advanced decimal specialists. Beyond errors and grade, the 1980 coin represents the closing phase of the new pence era. In 1982, the inscription was changed to simply 10 pence, reflecting full acceptance of decimal currency. This makes the 1980 issue part of a short and finite design period, adding to its historical significance. Market demand for early decimal coins has grown steadily in recent years. As younger collectors develop interest in coins from the 1970s and 1980s, nostalgia plays a powerful role. Coins once dismissed as ordinary pocket change are now recognized as historic artifacts of Britain's modern transformation. The 1980 Elizabeth II new 10-pence coin benefits from this trend. While not rare in the absolute sense, its availability in top condition is limited, and collector competition for pristine examples continues to increase. When evaluating a 1980 10-pence coin, experts recommend examining strike sharpness in the lion's facial features, clarity in the crown's cross and arches, and the smoothness of the fields surrounding the portrait. Even minor contact marks can significantly affect value in higher grades. Both the 1979 and 1980 Elizabeth II new 10-pence coins remind us that rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes, it is about condition scarcity, historical timing, and collector perception. These coins circulated widely, passed through countless hands, and served everyday transactions. Yet today, in exceptional preservation or with dramatic mint errors, they command attention and respectable premiums. For collectors building complete early decimal date sets, these two issues are essential. For error enthusiasts, they offer exciting possibilities. And for historians, they represent Britain's confident stride into a decimalized future under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. The next time you see a 1979 or 1980 10-pence coin, take a closer look. Check the luster. Examine the strike. Look for subtle anomalies, because hidden within what seems ordinary could be one of the most collectible early decimal coins in your collection.